Okay, wow. We're live.
Test.
We're live, okay.
Hello.
Good. Is this angle okay for you, or do you want to use
No, that's perfect. And
You can see the
Cindy?
cascade and show the people, okay?
Do you mind if I test and you just tell me if you can hear stuff in different areas?
yeah, we can hear you, dude. We're
Use the
good.
volume or whatever.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Great.
He wants a
Test.
choice. No, that's too loud.
Too loud, but you can adjust it. Okay, I'm going to turn this off to save power. Awesome. You want to put your... Okay, cello. Other side.
Moloch, let's figure this out. This
Yes, yeah, you can leave Chris's handbags here.
is perfect, dude. It's incredible. Dude, it's absolutely perfect.
No, don't say that.
No, but look, it's perfect.
So, Ma's gonna be here, right?
Ba, you mean?
Ba? Because my only question is, do you think they can
Oh, no, I don't think the crowd matters.
Yeah, okay.
You mean for the viewing?
Yeah, for the
Right.
viewing.
It's perfect.
Okay,
And then
when
for
you
the
guys
speech.
speak,
Now,
I'm
I'll
going to
stand
turn it.
back.
I'm going to turn it. I was going to turn it a little bit. And no, you have.
Banu, they want you to move out.
That's right, yeah, 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I'll use it. I think the kids will use it.
Yeah, if you want to.
You tell me which mic you want.
That's my mom.
So this is on.
Okay, so perfect. Now let me figure out the other room, okay?
Let Devani and Nisha look together.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Not a long way. Okay, and Mama will wait for us. Good night.
say your goodbyes, okay?
Yeah, John.
Rishi saw it. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I think it lines up now.
Yeah, I set up,
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah, you just keep it going. Keep it going. What's the harm? Just keep it going, dude.
So here it is. Okay, so the podium. Yeah, this is good.
And then
Hold on, get out of the way.
everyone
Sorry.
can see, guys, everyone sees you. Remember in that big room? Everyone sees you.
So I can. Okay, I can.
Hold
I
on
can
a
just
second, hold on a
face
second.
the
Let me
wall.
just practice.
Why don't we face the wall for now? If the family's coming in, let's just
Yeah,
face
yeah,
the
but
wall.
hold on, let's just do this. Rishi, stay there. Then all you do is that.
Then I'm gonna turn it. Yeah, when it comes. But right now, I want to make sure.
Why don't you close the screen? Oh, you don't.
No, turn it off. Yeah, let's put it this way. If the family's coming in, let's just put it this way. So that it's just facing. Or is there a picture of his? Okay, that's fine. It's supposed to be 9 o'clock anyways. The volume, by the way. Yeah, just make sure. Okay.
You worried about this?
It is very
It's very
high.
high. This is black. Yeah, maybe we'll tell them.
This is
that.
like,
Right.
I'll move my mouse here.
Well, so this is 8, so this is 16, and then one person is gonna be an odd person.
Should be right.
Is there any way we could
Do it really
one
simple.
seat from,
Which one?
just put one seat in the front,
One side.
one side, right?
Sure. Is that enough space though for a meeting? Do you want an aisle on this side here?
No, definitely on the aisle, and just here.
Are people moving this way to resumes? This one a little half look there. Does that give you that? No, little empty on.
67, 66, that's
Okay.
8.
So this was 16. Oh, 9, one more, that's what I was needing.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's-
then that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
fine. Here, I'll move this up for you.
And these,
and then there was just, I think that's Nishrin.
of course, the one, of course,
These are,
of course,
this is what I was
these kind
talking
of
about.
schools will have to reserve for 17 people.
This one is,
Is there another, do you need some more reserve? Yeah, so she might get some more reserve things.
Oh.
That would help.
This is 17, let me just make sure. 4 of us, 4 of Rahul. That's beautiful. Udayan, Mom, Henry, Silas, Devani.
Thank you.
Okay.
And,
True.
you got some more reserve ones? How many does she need?
these,
Like 14, if you have them? If you have them. Just be aware.
Jay, and you don't need that.
Okay, thank you.
4 of us.
Okay, 4 of Rahul, I need 8. Good,
Udayan, Henry, Silas, Leonie. 4.
Once I get it.
Okay,
Pinky,
13. Mom,
Mom.
14.
Drew.
15.
I'm sorry.
And then 7.
It goes a lot of that.
Did I count Naomi?
Yeah, you did.
I
Thank you.
have one more.
Okay, that's okay, thank you.
But what you can do is sort of take one out of the corner here and move it to the next.
No.
Jay, we don't need that.
it's fine.
It goes here. It goes here. We need 15 then.
Okay,
Why don't
well,
we
let's just keep, just in case, if we need to ask someone to
Who am I
move back,
missing? Who
they're
am I
gonna move back. You got put us, Rahul and Uday, and my mom,
And Pinky.
and Pinky.
Who's that? And Leonie. Is that 15?
That's 13, 14, 15, yeah.
Okay, so sorry.
Okay, well, let's just
Sorry,
keep
Marie.
it, listen,
If
if
you
we're
need
off,
somebody else, yeah.
yeah, we'll
No,
just
no.
move it, what are they gonna say, no?
No,
And we
but
just
I'm
moved that to
saying-
67, cause it was blaring.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the cool on.
Yeah,
It's so hard to gauge.
it's okay, I still want it so hot.
It is hot. I had to turn the air on in the back as soon as it starts getting hot. Yeah, so I turned it down, well, I turned it to 68.
Is that
so
16?
I'll come
So
back
then the
and
2 rows is perfect.
Just to make sure.
Okay,
because
so
once
do we
it's
need the reserved for the back?
We'll do it all.
I think, so what Udayan said was that
If we need to,
the extended family could also sit in the
Sure.
reserve, so I think it doesn't matter.
I
I mean,
found
we can move them back here if you want for these 2 rows when you're ready.
Yeah.
Makes it
So if
easier.
we need to.
It's alright, it's not having a cool, cool head.
I appreciate all that you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I'm good? I don't mind. I just, I don't mind that 17.
I'm gonna sneak through this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can take them off. You just hold my arm.
Well, we're sitting in the front, so yeah, I just walk out. It says employees only, so I don't know where to walk over. It might not be a big option. You can't go that way. It's like their bathroom, so you have to find the corner.
Yeah, there's some of that's mine. You can look whatever. Everything else.
Is this the Banu?
That's it.
Really nice. Yes. These are nice.
Cousins. Jessica, we're doing the receiving line only, so keep close. You and Roger, Mama.
Is this where you want to sit, or do you want to sit right across from him? You can sit, that's the chair, directly across from him. Is this where you want to sit? Whatever you want, or you can go directly right. That's a very good. Are you okay if we start with one because what we're
Yeah, of course.
You can stay seated, you guys should stay seated with no one else. the rest of us will run up here, people can greet us, and then come to you. Okay? So, what we're going to do,
And these other 3 women, because it's gonna be all of them.
actually, that's very good, yeah, so you want to seat all the women, and the guys can just stand.
What do you think, Sonal?
Devani, pop over. Okay, Silas, Henry, you can put your things on the podium if you want. Silas, podium, and then, I have checked the mic, and take a look. Guys, then, if you need to, you can get close to Dada until everyone else comes.
All right, Dad, where do you want us to stand when we speak out?
Us, men, boys here. Well,
All right,
yeah, 5 boys.
all right, okay, so
And you're after?
when do you want people? Silas, Henry, come on, guys.
Guys, just line up.
Like, get over here. All right. All right, Udayan, who's in charge of bringing people in? Hey, Udayan. And when they do the meeting, they go back out, they come and sit.
They may sit. Once they
So
come
then
in.
eventually you're gonna have like 100 people while people are being.
It's okay.
Okay.
They have to sit.
And if they wanna talk, then they go out.
That's correct. Well, I'm gonna be regular.
All right, good. Okay.
So just so you guys know this, I'm gonna get Muliben first, so we can control set.
Okay, great. Who else is called? Is it just
It's a lot.
Look at any I see yourself. Hey, you guys, hold on. Mom and other people want to hold temperature. Shreedhar, hold on. They're gonna raise the temp. But they're. I agree, Shreedhar, but that's.
I will turn it off, up. I understand, I got it.
No, but be serious.
Can you handle temperature and I'll get you?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, you guys, let's go with the receiving.
You understand? Okay. I'll turn it up, sure.
I got it. Now we have 2 pairs.
Great, I turned it on.
No, Shreedhar, they're really cool. Tell them.
We didn't say anything.
And Bob, you'll fade when it's very hot. You can be cold. When it gets too hot, you fade.
I mean, he'll probably hear it. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't be mad.
So who's the tallest of you guys? Henry, right now.
How tall are you?
Henry is barely a millimeter.
I'm holding on pretty nearly.
Amir, how old are you? 14.
Is this where you see how it goes? Very good.
Appreciate it. So please be seated, but maintain your silence. Thank you.
Gordy, just give him the option. Still an hour to go. Go for it. Yeah, they can understand. They don't understand. Exactly, so we can go. That's Henry's wife. This is Sandra. Did you see the girl? And Sonal, you know Mr. Nishrin, did you help Donna? Hey, Rahul. Nice to meet you. Oh, Mr. Guy. Oh, yeah. Jessica, thank you. It's helping. A little. Okay. Thanks for coming. You don't have to sit. Mom's talking about it. Yeah, everybody's related to Christy. Yeah, they're talking about yeah. Like a confidence. It's really great. Thank you. Yeah, I love being at the office. I know. Yeah, always there. Oh, don't worry about it. Christy, those are his granddaughters. Exactly. Joy. Yeah. This is deep.
Oldest son, last day.
The jacket not real long, but once he leaves it.
You know it's serious.
I the car to give him the 10 o'clock one now.
Did you work with
I've met you. It was quite a while ago. Never met you, but I've always wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
I haven't seen
This is my birthday.
all little, yeah. Yeah. Not my pleasure, but I feel like I should be here. Yeah. Sorry, my
See, it's usually the other way around. Usually I'm introducing my wife because usually we're so she forgets.
I do.
I'm her husband. I'm like, I'm sorry for your loss.
I think that was the true blessing of everything. To be gone. It was a path. Yeah, I wish that for us. No, I'll make it around.
Great work.
I didn't say they were done. I just said it was the end of your lunch.
Oh,
5 hours using a slide full of staring at the ground.
I'm sure she knows your She absolutely does.
No, I know.
She might
That's my
know.
grandmother.
She's tenacious. Hey, Mom, you've heard the Bill Wagner from Oh, see, she knows you. Thank you for coming. Such an honor. Jim Riley. This guy's a legend. Jim Riley. Father's Mom. Yeah, we met her. And then he'll send you that letter when Udayan and I spoke that this is Jim Riley. Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does. He does. Thanks for coming. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks for You get through 7 relatives, but if he's a Jim, you're dying to go. Yeah, get him going.
Yeah, I know, we're so far away now, yeah. But always in my history, I don't think anyone has been fun of it. Yeah, I know. Just like me, she grew up in so I moved east here. Yeah, but it's a little better than yeah, and I like them out. Yeah, these are old as well. You guys have done a few times. So we're all yeah. The white is good now. Yeah.
This is the, you just were with me at our wedding, came to you know, Mike.
You're welcome to stand there, but we're not.
That's okay. Let's get
Yes. Go ahead, yeah. Go wherever you like. I am not. This is my brother, middle brother. Yeah, that are you? Dr. Shah's. Oh my God! Wow, you look amazing. Jeez. Oh my God! You guys look great. Well, so wow.
Shreedhar, they live right next to us. You remember they were I'll walk with you. Got his math jokes. You know what I mean by that. So Mike, Christine, and I didn't have a chance. They had a little she'll make my remember from the Thanks for coming.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Hi, Mommy.
Yeah, you're just jealous. These are Karen's parents. We talked to them like this. They're very special. Karen used to have gerbils, and these are the parents of the gerbils. Just chat with us.
I'll just sit here. How much is left?
We can go get straight.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll leave. No, that's fine.
Danielle, How are you, my sweet thing?
There are eyes on you
It's okay to smile. It's better.
Sonal, it's been 30 years.
Well, you're lost. You look so good, man. There's great, man.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
My husband also
you guys know
we love it. You know,
Yes, it is. God works in mysterious ways.
Julie, He's our oldest brother, so we didn't meet on it. Okay.
God rest his soul.
I'm going to tell you some stories.
God rest his soul. We're ready. Are you 21 yet? Okay. Pretend you are. God rest his soul. Obituary. Yeah, no question. The only thing is you can't live forever. Yeah. That's the only thing. You're happy in Wake Forest? Yeah. That's right up. Love you.
Hey, Udayan. Cello. Oh, you're nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Really looking forward to
Next to mine is mine. No, sorry.
you? So Dr. Riley mentored me in chiropractic. You get it? We're all four work together. Yeah. Dr. Riley. That's Judy Riley's son. Oh yes, yes, of course. Nice to see you. How are you? Yeah. How have you been? He had a lot of yes, thank you. Otto and his love. He's from the temple. So daughter just was down this child. This is also that they don't 12 yeah. I mean,
yeah, we were acquired by Jacob.
Okay.
Great school, Wake Forest. There's somebody who's just waiting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go, guys.
That's a good idea.
Sorry for your loss.
I know you really respect me.
Hi, Chuck Mons. I work with you.
Hi.
That's perfect. That's right. Oh, nice to see you. You took the bus down. All good. Thank you so
I'll receive you guys. Okay, last one. We're talking about. You saw correct. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that means perfect.
Oh, that's me, okay. Doesn't matter.
Where are we going? Yeah. Sure, they're not. Are you guys out Schrader and I don't care about anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You boys don't have programs? No, I'm good. Wait, are we going? Hey guys, you guys are like all in coffee and figuring out. Yeah, I'm good. Here, guys. I didn't know you were I'm in the company. Sure. I didn't know. Just take
Anyway, you got your microphone.
You're just waiting for Mom. You can let Mom know. We're just waiting for my mother. It's fine. You guys good? Smile and laugh, guys. It's okay to laugh, guys. Yeah. Silas and I are therapeutic. We had a 5-minute speaking rule, right? Yeah. Is it your dad? Yeah. 13. Don't worry, don't tell
Thank you, everyone. Just a few more minutes. We'll wait for Mom, and then we can go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Watch out. Blocking the camera.
Oh. Thanks, girls. Thanks.
Your head is still in.
Yeah, we got it. Thanks.
Oh, no.
Guys, I'm good. Thank you. Shreedhar, we probably want to move. Don't tell her. Yeah, give us a sec. We just want to get this position right. Do a sound check, you guys.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. We feel you guys on the live stream, and we see you all here. Our father, Kanaiyalal Ramanlal Shah, passed away around 3:40 in the morning last Wednesday. Dad was fiercely independent. He was brave, he was generous, he was an idealist. He blew through life with a sparkling sense of humor, and he kept his eyes always above the horizon, looking forward, never back. He would not have wanted us to stay stuck in grief or in sorrow. He would have wanted us to pay our respects and then to move forward, to do what we are meant to do our duty, as the Gita would tell us, and make sure that we laugh and love along the way. And Dad's biggest love was for this family, To that end, I'm going to start with just a few words, and then I'll pass this microphone down the chain, or arguably up the chain. Dad left India when he was 24 years old. He took no shortcuts and went on task with no nonsense. He took no flack from nobody, and he did not suffer fools lightly. He was a free spirit, something not immediately obvious from the Dilbert-style engineering outfit with dark suit, white shirt, red tie. He was not a crazy socks kind of guy. And yet he was a rebel. He was an innovator, intellectually, socially. He wasn't tethered by tradition, but rather he, the idealist, always chased truth and justice. He was unafraid to speak his mind, to say the least. He was not always right, but he always had an opinion. Everyone who knew him has heard this. Let me tell you. Usually with the additional fifth word, which is your name. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes there's another fifth word. This, of course, isn't much fun to hear over and over, so our usual process with hot button issues was to go to Mom. Mom was the dad whisperer, and she would do some prep, some back-end negotiation, and sometimes pull the trigger and just take a covert action. That let Dad focus on what he needed to do as far as she was concerned. And Dad's fearlessness combined with his trust in the American legal system, of course, leads us to another one of his classic phrases. We will sue them. 4 words. His belief in doing the right thing made him a generous man. He gave of himself always. We all know that line outside the office doors like O'Hare on a Thanksgiving Tuesday. And his good works were rewarded with greater and greater dividends over time. He also gave that in America and in India. And he did all this with a twinkle in his eye and a lightness to his step. He woke up at 4 a.m. every day to exercise for an hour, really to keep the surgeons out of his neck, before starting a day that meant coming home at 7, and that's p.m., not a.m. Every picture of him that you see, and in every memory of him that I have, his cheeks are naturally full. You can see that in the pictures in the room, and usually made more full by his smile. He found humor everywhere, and one of the few times I remember dining in our formal dining room at Winesap Court, Jessica asked him why he ate meat if he's Hindu. He didn't raise his head, he just looked over his glasses and said, Jessica. And it's because none of my relatives have died in America and been reincarnated here yet. Once Rahul and I got our MDs, he told us he was the real doctor of the family, reminding us, physicians, that we just have jobs. PhD means Doctor of Philosophy. He was joyful. Ask the grandchildren. Ask anybody who saw his puppy dog energy, his laughter with the grandkids. There's some of these snapshots around here also, whether he was playing Legos or a firefighter. And his humor lives on. Several of us went casket shopping. It is what it is. And we had such a laugh over how angry Dad would have been knowing how much we spent on that cherry veneered model back there, which will be turning into ashes next week, by the way. But he was a classy guy, and he loved his cars. And remember, his big treat to himself when he landed his first huge contract was buying that cream Mercedes 300 TD. So we want him to have a good-looking ride on the way out of here on his next road trip. And Dad, you really don't know what we spent, and you don't want to know. He never may. He trusted Mom completely, and that was the foundation of their over 60 years together between engagement and marriage. Now, he loved all of us also, but he trusted and loved Mom. And so he'd want part of his enduring message to be this. Just as you cannot be afraid to speak the truth, don't be afraid to tell those whom you love that you love them. Tell them now. One of you might not be awake in the morning. Tell them what you need to tell them, and ask them what you need to ask them, and do it now. And speaking of doing things, he'd say again, 4 words. Do the right thing. Always. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because not everyone can do this for themselves. Take care of those who can't, because you are blessed with your health, your mind, and with resources, he would say. And so you can, and you must. Which is why he will forever be remembered for those most powerful 4 words of Kanu Shah. I will help you. And he always would. Dr. Shah, you were a great dad and a great man. I love you.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Henry Ostrom Shah, and I am Kanaiyalal Shah's, Kanu's, Kanubhai, Dr. Shah's, or to me and my cousins, Dada's oldest grandchild. This lengthy listing of names reflects something that every person in this room knows about Dada. He was a leader in every aspect of his life, from 9-year-old rock thrower at a truck of British soldiers, to volleyball captain, to top exam scorer, to head of household, to engineer, to father, to grandfather. Many of these roles unfolded in public. I want today to talk about a lesson that Dada taught me and my brother Silas in private. In fact, I want to talk about something that I learned in Bon Dada's home from a small flame that Dada lit every night on top of their dresser. Since I was born, whenever I'm here in Maryland, I have stayed at Bon Dada's house. And each night, we have led the same nighttime routine and ritual together. As with many other things in their married life, Ba and Dada moved in perfect sync. Dada comes home, he sits on a bench, he takes off his shoes, he loosens his tie, Ba puts the last plate on the table, she pulls a small stainless steel holder from a middle shelf, she puts a small piece of wax with a wick in the holder, Dada takes the holder, he starts walking up the stairs, and he goes to their bedroom. Soon, we all join him. He has taken the holder, put it on their dressing table, in front of a mirror, and he has lit the small candle with a match. We then line up. Dada is at the front, Ba is behind him. If my parents are there, they go in front. If it is just me and Silas, I go first and Silas follows. Dada then steps towards the flame. The light is soft, and we can see his brown face glimmer gold in the mirror. He puts his hands close enough to the flame that the tips of his fingers may start to sense the heat. His eyes sweep around the mirror. Taped to the mirror are photographs of people we love. Dada's eyes pause on each photograph, and then ours do too. Many of the people in these photos are alive. My father and his brothers, my mother, my cousins, me and my brother, family in India that we haven't met yet. And as time goes on, there are more photos. My aunts as my uncles get married, my cousins as they have kids. There are also photos of people I have never met and who I will never meet. These people are dead, but Dada looks at them too, and so do we. His father and mother, Ba's father and mother, grainy photographs of people who sat only once for a photograph. After he looks, he brings his hands together, looks into the flame, and takes the hand that was held over the flame and sweeps it on his head from front to back. As a little kid and now, I am a person who asks many questions, and Dada was always someone who enjoyed answering. I once got very bored with our nighttime ritual. Dada, what are we doing? Why do we light a candle every night, stand in a line, and stare at a fire to look at pictures of people we don't know? Dada enjoyed answering because he enjoyed teaching. Sometimes he talked without stopping, and sometimes he gave just a sentence, a perfect lesson. He gave just a few sentences that I remember now, that encapsulated his boundless commitment to each and every person in this room. When you are bored, you will learn things. When you wait in line, you will learn about who is in front of you in line and who the people in the pictures are. These people were once in front of me in line, and you are in front of someone else. Now it is your brother, but one day it will be other people. I stood in the line behind my grandfather, and now I stand in line in front of you and Ba and Silas. If we don't stand together in line, you will have no idea what to do when you get to the front of the line. Kanaiyalal Shah, Kanu, Kanubai, Dr. Shah, whatever we call him, I stand today with sadness that Dada can no longer lead the line. If I feel great sadness, I feel even more profound gratitude. Because of Dada, we know how to light the match, we know how to feel the flame, we know how to stand together, and Dada and the people on the wall who came before us, and with all the people behind us who are waiting for their turn. Thanks to Dada, I know what it means to be a good man, a good son, a grandson, a husband, a family member, and a friend. Dada would credit anything that he received that he had to give to God. In recent years, he was increasingly satisfied that I would agree with him, and even more satisfied that I found inspiration in the South Asian tradition, the saint and poet Kabir in particular. In Dada's spirit, I offer this short verse of Kabir in his memory. Kabir ne kaha, mera mujh mein kuch nahi, jo kuch hai so tera tujhko saap doon, kya lage hai mera. Kabir said, there is nothing in me that is mine. All that is yours. I offer to you what is already yours. What can I say is ever mine? Thank you.
Good morning. I am Silas Shah, Kanu's grandson and son to Udayan and Jessica, brother to Henry. I worked with Dada for 3 years after college. And during that time, he became more than just a grandfather to me. He became a teacher and a friend. He had the unique gift to teach me things that I was too stubborn to learn from others. Discipline, patience, and practicality. Dada was a source of pride for my Indian identity and the traditions that came from being a proud Indian American. His experiences migrating here and assimilating into American culture helped me understand my own identity as a second-generation American. Throughout my life, Dada often explained to us the reasons he started his own company because there were limits to his advancement in the existing electrical industry as an Indian man. My understanding of the struggles he faced, finding his way in his industry, taught me to always embrace who I was and to continue to find opportunities to learn, grow, and help others who also struggle to be accepted or propelled by society. Dada was a joyous man and a curious soul. He was patient and he was thorough. I recall our evenings spent as Shaw and Associates, sharing dinners alongside Ba, delving into endless conversations that span marriage, life, business, politics, and family. His wisdom flowed effortlessly, leaving us enriched by his stories and his insights. He would tell me about the 19-cent hamburger and couples movie nights with Ba at University of Missouri. Our lunches at Don Jorge's in Gaithersburg were more than meals. They were moments of bonding, ordering pupusa and Dada proudly walking into the kitchen to announce our readiness to order. It was in those seemingly simple moments that I witnessed a different side of him, a side that I wasn't initially prepared for, yet one I grew to love. He held himself and others to a standard of excellence, but paired it with endless patience. His honesty, kindness, spirituality were the pillars of his character, shaping him into the most caring person I've ever known. His dedication to guiding and teaching, ensuring we reached our highest potential, remains an enduring legacy. His attention to detail went beyond the ordinary. It permeated every corner of his life. Whether it was teaching me the importance of punctuality through the timed alarms on his iPhone or the nightly routine he followed, applying chapstick, setting his gold watch delicately on the dresser, and lighting the candle for our Devo prayer, These rituals became sacred moments where I glimpsed his inner tranquility. Amidst his dedication to work and discipline, he knew how to embrace life's joys. Our afternoon conversations about relationships and girls showcased his fascination with human behavior, always eager to understand and learn from others. His presence in the office was unmistakable. The sight of him puttering around in his slippers signaled his domain. And when he sported his huge red tie, I knew he was heading into something significant, his commitment to his duties unwavering. Dada's legacy isn't just in the memories we share, but in the values and lessons he bestowed upon us. He was a beacon of wisdom, compassion, and dedication. His spirit will continue to live on in our hearts of all who were fortunate enough to know him. Let us carry forward the wisdom he imparted, the love he shared, and the joy he found in every moment. Though he may no longer be with us in person, his presence and teachings will forever resonate with us. Thank you, Dada.
Silas, thank you for that. It's funny you talk about the red tie. The tie I'm wearing today is one I found in his briefcase. Thank you all for joining us today to remember and celebrate the life of my father. It's an honor to stand before you and to speak about the remarkable man he was. He spoke often about the 4 stages of life. From ages 1 to 25 is education. 26 to 50 is family. 51 to 75 is work. And he showed that one. 75 plus is giving back. I'm lucky enough to have some unique insights, as I got the opportunity to work with him for 17 years. So you're going to hear a lot of things about him today, but I really want to shed some of those insights with you. We really worked side by side. We had a unique bond that went beyond a father and son relationship. Dad was a man of strong principles and integrity that we all know. However, I believe those were instilled in me as a child. Yet as an adult, I got the rare opportunity to view them at work with my father. As a child, he taught me the importance of integrity. At work, upon my first days there, I chose how he saw not to charge clients more money when he easily could, when he gave them his word. His word was better than any contract. He would repeat that. As a child, he taught me hard work. At the office, his usual was an 80-hour work week. There's a lot of clients here and a lot of employees that were gracious that you could join us today. Ask them. They'll tell you. He did this until the day he passed, and he enjoyed every minute of it. As a child, he taught me to give back to society. At work, he showed me example after example of gestures, small and large. There's a cleaning crew that would come by our office, and they had a couple kids. And look, it's hard to find daycare. These kids would just sit in kind of this little vestibule area we had, and they would just, later in life they'd be on their phone, but they would just sit there and draw. My dad would come out and talk to them, and after a while, he asked them, "Do you read books?" These kids barely read any books. He said, "I'll tell you what, every book you read, I'm going to give you $10. Next week they'd come back, "How many books did you read?" 2 books. Good. Here's $20. And you know what? Next time, I want a 1-page report. Some of the employees here know that he worked on the weekends. Okay? He worked 8-hour days on the weekends. He'd come in the morning, leave at lunch, take his version of the Indian siesta, and come back in the afternoon, kind of right as the Sunday NFL game was finishing. So some of the employees that were there for him, working, he had conversations with them about life. Anything they wanted to discuss. It was a really rare chance using the calm of the weekend hours to exchange ideas. It's funny standing here because so many of you who knew him, personally and professionally, saw a very quiet person, right? Very introspective. Yet sometimes when I worked with him, he would talk to me so much, I would try to back out of these conferences. And I'd run into the door. Now I got pretty good at backing out, but Mom, I also want to tell you, he talked about you. He always kept these thoughts to himself, but every month and a half or so, he would marvel at me. he'd sit there in his red chair in his office and say, and I'm gonna do my impression. Yeah, I don't know how she does this. I'm sparing the accent. I don't know how she does this. Her attention to detail, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best. And I'm like, okay, I got you. I can tell you the third time. He would often say on Monday morning how he was talking to Mom about a project issue or an issue at work, and it actually made him think about it differently. On Friday afternoons, often he would say, you know what? Let me talk to Mom, see what she thinks about that this weekend. As a child, he taught me the importance of valuing others. And I can tell for all that are here, near and far. At work, I saw how he truly valued the coworkers and his clients. He would often talk to me when we were driving back from meetings, just talk about projects and different things, about specific employees, and he would truly praise each and every one of you. Now, that might come as a surprise to some of you, because he wasn't outwardly vocal, but I know he had the utmost respect for each and every one of you. And I know that. He told me. He told me how hard you worked, and he told me how honest and lucky we were to have you folks. Now, most of you know, or will hear today or later on this afternoon, how many people him and my mom had a part in bringing to the United States from India. I want to let every single person here who was part of that, I know more about your story than you can ever imagine, because he got to tell me. I know the intimate details. I was very lucky. But while it would take too much time, that I've been given today, later on, ask me. I can fill in and tell you some great stories. But I do want to tell you that he was so proud of each and every one of you and your family members. He was so humbled by the sacrifice that each of you made in coming here. And true sacrifice to leave a life that you led in India for your children and their children. You should see his face light up, if you can imagine it. We had this other small conference room, and he would just stare outside that window and talk at length about each individual kind of family member, just sporadically, and how much pride it gave him. It was evident. Now, he was also a man of many talents, not just engineering. Just a few tidbits, because it is important you folks know this. He was also a budding nutritionist. When I was younger, sometimes he'd see me eating a bowl of chips. I was like, no, eat a brownie. It's better for you. Come on, let's get a brownie. Okay. He was a budding senior ping pong Olympian. We got a ping pong table in our basement, and all the kids are running around. And we asked, well, hey, when can we play? When can we play? And he said, he says this to like an 8-year-old Shreedhar, like, if you can bounce the ping pong thing on you 100 times, we'll let you play. I'm lucky I got to see that table once. And speaking of physical fitness, we had a bench press and some weights we put in the basement. And, he was like, we set up and he wanted to try it, and then I'd do some, and he actually would do a couple sets. And then my mom sent me upstairs for something, and I'm like, hey, Dad, where are you? He was actually in the bathroom flexing. Now, if that's the most surprising thing you're going to hear today, yeah, tell me what's going to beat that one. So, listen, most people agree in here with children, especially children in the formative years. What can you give your kids to be happy? I actually don't agree. I think it's what can you leave your kids? You can leave them with faith, with hope, and with love. And my dad left me and my family with all these things. In a way that I feel I was only privy to by being able to work with him. So I'm truly grateful for that. And I want to also express my profound gratitude to each of you for coming today, for working alongside of him, for being his friend, for being his family member. He was a guiding light in my life that didn't speak to how I should do things, because he was, again, very quiet, but he let his actions show the way. His legacy will continue to shine brightly through all the lessons he imparted in me and in all of us, the love he shared, and the remarkable work that we all accomplished together. So rest in peace, Dad. We love you.
you all for coming here today to celebrate and remember the life of my grandfather, my Dada. I know he has done many things in his life, and many know him as a smart engineer, a great businessman, and a philanthropist. I want to tell you about the great things he has done to my grandfather. As a little boy, whenever I would go over to his house, we would always play games in the basement. Air hockey, ping pong, or miniature race cars. I would love playing with him no matter the game. There was never a worry in the world whenever I was with him, playing games. When I was younger, I just thought of my Dada as a good person. I've gotten older, especially in the last week, I've realized many more things. Thanks to all the stories and speeches you have heard and will hear today. We haven't played games in a while, but I know that the lessons he has taught us will come in handy in the future. Perform your best no matter the circumstances, work the hardest of anyone, and to strive to be the best. He truly was great at many things, an engineer, a businessman, and a philanthropist, but to me, he was my Dada.
Thank you all for gathering here today to honor my Dada. Dada taught me many lessons throughout my life, from having good manners to hard work. And the two most memorable lessons he taught me were to never give up and failure is how you learn. And he taught me both these lessons at a young age when we played chess together. Every time I went over to Dada's house, I challenged Dada to a game of chess, which I usually lost. I remember sitting down across from him at the table, setting up the board. After some friendly banter, I made my first move, and I got locked in for the entire match. And when he would beat me, he would say, "Good game," and I would sigh, disappointed that I had lost once again. He would first tell me that I was getting better and I shouldn't give up. Then he would give me feedback on what I could have done better, which there was a lot. And finally, he would ask me if I wanted to play again. I always excitedly said yes, unless it was time for bed or we were getting Pizza Hut. Thinking things would be different, but they weren't. I lost yet again. Even when I was tired of losing, Dada was still encouraged me to not give up, and which always motivated me to play another game. I always tried to apply his feedback in every game I played against him. As I got more and more feedback, I became better and better without even realizing it. Then that day finally came. I beat Dada. I'll never forget it. I was about 9 years old when that happened, so I didn't realize it then. But now that I'm a little older, I can see that he taught me to never give up and learn from my mistakes. Failure is the key to victory. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nishrin.
I'm Devani. We're Dada's granddaughters and we're honored to share a few words with you all today.
Last week when my mom called me to tell me the news about Dada, I was sitting in my college dorm room. I was shocked and overcome with emotion, to say the least, and my roommate and hallmates came into the room to come and comfort me and to ask me about who my Dada was as a person. I couldn't help but find myself describing him to them with the same three adjectives: motivated, hardworking, and accomplished. I told them the story of my Ba and Dada and how they both embody the American dream, as they are the reason most of us are in this room here today, and in the US. Anyone who knows my Dada knows he strove for perfection and expected that from his loved ones. As I have grown and matured, I have learned to appreciate and understand this drive and work ethic that Dada expected. Dada himself never settled for less than perfection, as he had accomplished so much in his lifetime and has inspired those around him to do the same. As a second gen, I admired both my Dada and Ba's autonomy to come to the US, leaving behind a life that was so familiar to them in order to provide for our family.
We all know enough about Dada's work ethic, so I wanted to change the subject a little bit and talk about some of the fun and lighthearted times that I had the privilege of sharing with him. Some of my fondest memories I shared with Dada are time spent in his basement playing ping pong, which again, often lost, or in the old Pizza Hut restaurant trying to win the claw machines, which Dada ended up taking over for me and never stopped playing until he won. I remember going to Cold Stone and Prague with him and how he'd always let me get as many toppings as I wanted, and I also remember the fun times we had at Krispy Kreme the mornings after we'd spend the night at Ba and Dada's house. Another vivid memory I have with Dada was quite a few years ago at a family Diwali party. I remember that there were M&Ms and Dada and I were eating them. He threw one up in the air and caught it in his mouth. He challenged me to try. And the two of us spent the next 10 minutes catching M&Ms together. I love this memory because it reminds me of his playful side. I wanted to share this story because his playful side was the side of him that most people didn't have the privilege of knowing. And I feel so grateful to be one of the lucky ones to have known him.
We had the privilege of knowing Dada's personalities in many facets. I remember the day Dada passed when I had texted my dad in the morning to let him know that I was heading to my 9 a.m. class, because that is what Dada would have wanted. I went through my full day of classes, exams, and study halls, because that's also what Dada would have wanted. My friends thought I was insane and told me to take the day for rest, but I told them they wouldn't understand because my Dada would never want me skipping class, especially on that day. The other day, my dad texted me a picture of a box he found in Dada's office that had the graduation programs for our high school to college graduation ceremonies. I'm lucky to have had him at my high school graduation, and I know he will be there with me as I continue on through my schooling and further knowledge.
Similarly to Nishu, when I found out that my Dada had passed, I also continued on with my school day and attended all of my classes as normal. I knew that would be the only appropriate way to honor his memory, by going to school. Because as many of you know, he placed great emphasis on education, especially for his grandkids. I know that if I talked to Dada today and told him that I skipped school on account of him, he would insist that he taught me better than that.
Whenever his grandchildren would go over to Dada's house, Dada would always have some new piece of information to share with us. Whether it be on school, sports, or friends, Dada would have something new to share. A vivid memory I have with Dada is seeing him the day before I left for college. He had asked me if I knew what the IRS was. Very confused, I responded with, a governmental service I shouldn't be receiving mail from, and he laughed and said no, that it was an acronym that he wanted to give to me for the next stage of my life. I for independent, R for responsible, and if you know my Dada, the S would have to stand for study. Dada wanted all his grandchildren to succeed and to be good humans in the process, and it is evident that we have taken this to heart. Dada was an academic and urged us to continue seeking knowledge, as there would always be something new to learn. We can take his life lessons and accomplishments as a source of inspiration, along with the acronym IRS.
We all know Dada was academically dedicated, but it's important to remember that he was also dedicated and devoted to improving the lives of others. His passion for giving back to the community has always stuck out to me as I've grown up. One thing I loved about my relationship with Dada was our bond over community service. Surprisingly, he was always more interested in my community service endeavors than he was my schooling, which says a lot. One of the lessons I've learned from him is to set goals and take action, but not for the benefit of myself, for the benefit of others. Dada has always conveyed the importance of community service to me, even in my birthday card. So I'm going to read a quote from this past September. He said, continue to do my volunteer work and to always keep others in mind. And Dada's birthday cards weren't very long, so the fact that that was there says, again, a lot. I've taken his experiences and passion for volunteer work and used it as my own motivation in my community service endeavors. With his passing, I'm now more than ever inspired by the work he did towards helping educate the world.
It's never easy to say goodbye, but Dada lived a life worth celebrating, changing lives around him and striving for excellence in the process. His legacy is one that will undeniably live on, and his stories will be passed on through generations.
We will hold his values of hard work, family importance, and his passion for giving back close to our hearts as we continue to grow up and face new life challenges. Dada positively impacted and influenced the lives of everyone in our family, in this room, and across the world.
We
are proud to be his granddaughters, and may he rest in peace.
I'd say they saved the best for last, but you six did awesome. Dada would be so proud of you. Great work. I can speak slowly because we're waiting for the priest. Dada would always, we are. Dada knows I lectured, and he would get upset when I would go to a lecture and I wouldn't have my notes written. I said, Dad, I know what I'm talking about. And he would still, even to these days, he'd get upset and say, do you have your notes? So Dad, I wrote my whole speech out because he wouldn't want me to forget anything. Y'all can hear me back there? Great. Thank you, family, friends, and the nearly 1,000 of you watching from Dad's hometown of Bhaner, India. Mom and Dad had 3 sons, and we each had different experiences. Udayan was born and raised when they were recent immigrants, finishing their education, starting their careers. Shreedhar was raised when the company was accelerating their growth. Then there was me. In Indian tradition, the first male son is revered, the second respected, and the third is sent abroad. I was raised during a time when Mom and Dad had money. My experiences were unlike my brothers. My time with Dad was spent in investing, business ventures, and philanthropy. I was my dad's sidekick. I usually didn't get yelled at or in trouble. That was for Udayan or Shreedhar. He was tired by the time he got to me. He literally let me break the rules. And even today, guys, he actually wouldn't care that I'm past the 5 minutes because I was the youngest son and he let me get away with a lot of stuff. I'm aware of that and took advantage of it. I would tag along to his business meetings, his investment meetings, and his site visits. He was always looking for opportunities. That was Dad. A highlight for both of us was the lunches and the dessert that inevitably followed. We both have a sweet tooth, and we never told Bob where we went. Amir and I have the same experience. Many of you are here to mourn our loss. I'm here to celebrate Dad's life. Before I do that, let me tell you about his final days so you all have closure. Banu and I were there. For that, we are eternally grateful. I am so happy the last person he saw and spoke to was his buddy Banu. They had a very special and unique relationship, just as only two nerds can share. And they shared a love of, well, me. Dad missed Thanksgiving because he had a cough and cold. He really wasn't upset at all. When we all spoke to him that morning, he was kind of happy. And we think so because he got to work alone in his study uninterrupted that day. That was Dad. Always working in his home office. We often wondered, what is he working on? Sunday, he had a cough and cold, and he made his appointment to see his doctor the next day. That's a sign. Dad never liked going to the doctor. He actually hated doctors. He almost invariably made me take him. After the appointments, we would argue, and I would always say, Dad, you're going to have a prolonged illness. Most people end their life over time. So let's start preparing. Let's start thinking about it. You just don't die suddenly. And you guys know what he would say. No, Rahul. No. When I'm done, I'm done. I'll be done and I'll just leave. I said, Dad, you have no idea what you're talking about. We would agree to disagree. That was Dad. He went to the doctor Monday and was given an antibiotic, but Dada didn't pick it up right away. Where did he go? To the office. He had back-to-back-to-back meetings. He didn't even have a chance to call Mom. He worked all day. 7 p.m. he left work, got his antibiotic, and went right to bed. The next day, on Tuesday, he had all of his files delivered to the house so he could work from home all day. Mom called at 2:22 a.m. Wednesday. The dad had trouble breathing. Banu rushed over, called 911. As he left the house on the stretcher, he became pulseless. To say it another way, as soon as his body left his home, he was done. This is exactly how he predicted he would leave this earth. He was insistent he knew how he would die. That was Dad. He was stubbornly right most of the time. I tell you this story not to feel bad for Dad. We're mourning his loss today. But please note, he had no pain, he was ready to go, and he had achieved way beyond what he ever dreamed. As a young married couple, Mom and Dad would go on walks in India and share visions of their future. Dad always told Mom, let us be successful so we can help others. That was Dad. Dad saw the world in numbers. It's been my real joy to share that lens with him. Let me run through some numbers about Dad that may surprise some of you. 1, he was number 1 in his SSC All Exam in India. If you don't believe me, go look at the board. For 70 years, he still holds a record. It's still there today. 3, he received 3 advanced degrees. 4% for all of you wonder. That's his lifetime annual rate of return on his investments. We actually calculated it this summer. 4%, it was 4.6%. And I made fun of him. I said, Dad, that's a joke, that's ridiculous. You know, I don't understand that. He didn't get mad at me a lot, but he just said sternly, remember, that's easy for me to say because I had him as a financial backstop. He reminded me that when him and Mom were here, they had no one to help them. It was just both of them as partners to look after dozens of family members, many of you here. So he wasn't chasing returns, he was protecting you. That quickly shut my jokes down. 7, he would have been the number 7 employee at Intel. Shreedhar, that would have been great. But he didn't think semiconductors were the future. That was Dad. Stubbornly wrong sometimes. But he did change his mind because, interestingly, when I was looking at his stock holdings on Monday, Intel was one of them. The number 35. With Shreedhar, they built Shaw & Associates to a top 35 engineering firm in the country. He was so proud working alongside his son. 700. He and Mom built a school in Bhaner, India that educates 700 students a year. The return on this investment can't be quantified. Millions. He and Mom gave literally millions, several millions to charity, almost all for education. That was Dada. He worked for others, especially in his later years, often telling me all his earnings were being donated. Again, we had an interesting relationship where I was permitted to banter back and forth with him, and I would call this bluff. I actually didn't believe him until I was looking at his finances this past Monday evening. He actually did. Dad would be upset if I didn't leave you with lessons from his life. He would want this part of the speech directed to the younger generation in the room and the students watching from Bhaner, India. So I give you 3 of Dad's biggest lessons. Number 1, you've heard it several times here. Be on time, always, and dress properly. All the grandkids know this one, and all of us follow it. He would say that opportunities don't come when you expect them, think you deserve them, or want them. He taught us to be on time and be ready. You never knew when your chance will arise. Number 2, gain technical knowledge, then leverage that technical expertise to become a leader. I'm looking at all my cousins. We've heard that over and over. And he didn't want us to do that for money and power, but the ability to be a leader so that we could help others. The corollary to this point is be the best. If you're not, find something else to be the best in. He loved Jack Welch, the legendary late CEO of GE, who said, "You're the best in your business or you exit that business." He quoted that to me almost monthly. He wants each of you to find what you can be the best in and be it. I'm just thinking, Udayan, was he worried that I was the best in what I was doing? I don't know. Yeah, this is my speech. Number 3, the final lesson is to always help others. This is not some easy saying. He means it, and he certainly lived it. He doesn't care how much you have. He firmly believed we can all help others. He would say, no matter how busy we are or our place in life, we must always help others. He said it so much that Mom and I got tired of it, and we would joke that it was all he ever talked about. That was Dad. Banu and I are lucky to have been with Mom and hear Dad's last words. However, I was most struck by what I found this past Monday when I was in his home office trying to understand his finances. We always wondered, what did Dad do in his study upstairs for hours on end? What was so interesting and compelling that kept him home when Mom went to dinner with the grandkids every weekend? Why didn't he join us? He joined us maybe once every 2 months, alternating between the brothers, so you can do the math on that. Amazingly, I found what he was doing all that time. It wasn't his investments. He only had 9 investment positions: Apple, Microsoft, Intel, and 6 PE firms, right? Power engineering firms. He wasn't an active trader. He wasn't researching real estate properties. He was thinking, but not about money, but about us and you all. I found a box right next to his wooden desk, and I opened it up. It was a Xerox box, and in it was Nishu's graduation program. Henry, your law school graduation program for May was right in there. It was on the top. On top of that was a brown accordion file. You know the type that Dad used over and over. You guys remember that, right? And he would recycle them. Henry knows that. The brown accordion file. It was stuffed full, the edges worn. It was clear that it had been opened and closed often and recently. The title of the file was scribbled in Dad's handwriting in a pencil: Kids/Grandkids Cards. I was stunned. He saved each card you all gave him. He read each card you all gave him, and he took notes about you all. He took notes. He was thinking, how can I help make each of us better? I'm confident I know how Dad spent Tuesday, the day prior to his death. He was looking at those cards and thinking about his life, of course, in numbers. Thinking of you 6 grandkids, the larger family, and the hundreds of you all that are here today. We were his last thoughts. That was Dad.
The priest is here.
We have our priest here, and if you could come forward, please, and take over, that would be great. We'll have a brief religious service, and our priest will direct us.
Yeah, bring him up. He's coming. Hey, Henry. Did you get Sonal? Okay. Yeah. So, do you want to help the priest? Do you want to help him? Yeah, you know, we need that. We need it loud. It's being recorded, so they need it.
Hare Krishna. Harihi Om Om Shamna Mitra Samvarunaha Shamna Bhavarataryama Shamna Indra Brihaspate Shamna Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vaya Tameva Prataksham Brahmashmi Tameva Prataksham Brahma Vadeswami Ritamavade Swami Satyamavade Swami Tannamavatu Tadbhaktaramavatu Avatumam Avotu Bhaktyaram Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhya Namah Shri Paramagurubhya Namah Shri Paratparagurubhya Namah Harihi Om. So now we are doing our traditional ceremonies. We call the Antyeshti Kriya, the last ritual. So we'll take 15 minutes, try to do a little less, not then more. I will invite Tristan, please come over here, and also your wives. Best way to give over here. Thank you. Ganga water, just wash your hands. Om Gange cha Jamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswate Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jarasmin Sannidhyam Kuruho. Just sprinkle on your head. Om Keshavaya Namah Madhavaya Namah Govindaya Namah Om Sri Vishnave Namah Madhusudhanaya Namah Tripikramaya Namah Vamanaya Namah Om Shreedharaya Namah Rishikeshaya Namah Om Padmanabhaya Namah Janardhanaya Namah Mupendraya Namah Om Hare Namah Sri Krishnaya Namah. What's your both? Both. Good. Sure. Might be
Saliana.
That was deep for that one.
हरि ओम ओम गोविंद 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 दो ब्रह्मण द्वितीय प्राप्ते शिष्ये तवरः कल्पे वैवाशतमन्वन्तरे अष्टमी से कलिजुगे कले प्रथम चरणे में द्वितीय जम्बूद्वीपे भारतवर्षे भारतखण्डे गंगाय पश्चिम भागे भूदत्तोत्तर भागे अमेरिका प्रदेशे मेरिलैंड क्षेत्रे गेथेर्सबर्ग नगरे अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यवहारिके प्रभवति षष्ठी संवत्सराणां मध्ये शिशुभक्रीतानम्ने संवत्सरे अग्रहायण शुभमासे भास्करे तृतीया शुभो तिथौ शुक्ला पक्षायः उत्तर आश्रद्धा नक्षत्र संयुक्तायं विष्कुंभ जोगे ओम श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु विश्वक राशिते भास्करे अस्य यजमानस्य परलोकः गतस्य मम पितृदेव पादन्ति कश्यपः नम्ना धेयस्य गोत्राभवस्य दशमः दिवसे अंत्यष्टे कर्माणः करणे शुद्धीकरणः तदीयः you three will say putraha and your name
Udayan.
and you three will say putravadhu Shri Vishnu Pritartha Antisti Karmanah say Aham Karishye on the cloud. Yeah. Order come first, then roll, then come here. Please come. This is a symbolic of your giving death of your dad with a holy water. So this water you are actually sprinkling. So you can start now first. Om Gayadini Chatirthani Sarva Papa Pranashinim Kaushiki Chandravaghasyam Kaushiki Chandravaghasyam Sarva Papa Pranashinim Om Bhadravakasham Sharajam Tirtha Pindakaram Tatha Prithivim Yani Tirthani Chaturashagaras Tatva Tu Manashaha Kritasnanam Kritasnanam Gadayashuhu. Om Gritavati Bhavananam Pradadaseshu Peshashah. So this is like a symbolic in our India after taking bath with the body. So we are offering the Hritam. So this is ultimately in our traditional in India, after giving bath of plain waters, then we actually put the ghee in whole body. So over here we are using it as a symbol.
Brothers, please come. So this is the Tulsi Kanchi. You all hold it together. The Tulsi Kanchi is over here. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sadavishwanti Shuraya Divya Chakshura Tatam. And the name. Now we are offering a yogurt, which one also is a symbolic. All three hold it together. Om Dadikravakaresham Apamasya Samate Te Samavasya Bhavavajama Sangame Om Dadikravakaresham Ji Arishya Bajinaha Shurobhenam Mukhokarat Prana Arishtata Om Ghritavati Bhuvananam Ashiva Shriyabhi Prithi Madhudadeshupeshashah Dabhya Prithivivarunasya Dharmana Vishkara Vete Ajare Bhuriretashah Apodishta Bhumistvanavadye Dhanaha Maharanaya Sakshushe Om Jobasvevah Rarajattamavajayata Udo Shiramataraha. Om Mahabhamadeva Rishivirat Gayatri Chandah Vishnu Karayanasya Tamavyam Dividrashakah Kayaya Vishtatraya Bhadde Karni Visranayam Devam Bhadram Prashyami Vajjatah Om Madhuvatarikayate Madhusharanti Shindavah Madho Viranam Santoshade Madhunukta Matovasha Madho Matparthiva Raja Madho Dovrastana Pritah Madhuman Manashpate Rastu Shuriyah Madvega Varvavantunah Om Madhu 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 Madhu. So giving the tulsi leaves, holy basils, this is a black sesame seeds. Om Kanaiyalal Vidrashakah Kaya Vishvrita Badram Karni Visranayam Devam Bhadre Prashyami Ajita Sita Rakshato Vashastvanam Swamadivadajada Yashuhum. We're offering a Mahaprasad as sweet. It's come from temple. Take this. There is a 4 coconuts, 2 coconuts will this side and 2 coconuts that side. That's it. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sadavashvanti Shuraya Diviva Chakshura Tadam Tad Viprasha Viparana Vajagrivam Shashamin Tad Vishnu Jat Paramam Padam Harihi Om. This is a symbolic of wood bakes. In India, you might see the wood bakes you make it. So this is symbolic way we are offering. So this 6 we place 2, 2, 2. Okay. Says this facility incense are not allowed to light on, so we'll just keep the incense on. So this is actually a represent of sandalwood. So this is a sandalwood.
Here too? Down here? Right here?
Yeah. Just a stick.
Sure.
This is push-up grass, a holy grasses. Side. So we are offering a cloth now, and the cloth you will offer one, and mom and all they will come and offer this. It's okay?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Scissors.
Thank you. We got it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a cloth, everything?
Yeah.
You can explain it.
Yeah. So, as in, you might remember in India, after giving bath, then varieties of item make the purifications and also pure the body. This is the symbolic, that's when we actually take birth. We are becoming completely pure. come in this earthly planet, knowingly, unknowingly, we commit lot of sin. This is by default. You will commit. It's like you're walking down, some bugs will come to your feet. You cannot avoid. So even though it is knowingly is coming, but you can't avoid. So when actually is offering to the fire god, we have to purify ourselves that pure as we came back. So these all items are represent on that. So that's why just after that we offer the few important items, and now we're offering a cloth. The son will give this dhoti, but the mothers and all the bahus will hold this one, and this one will go to the top. First son will give this one, then after that. So first you guys will do this one.
Only this.
That's it. So not covered to the face. Not covered to the face.
Should I fold it?
Yeah, you can fold it.
Fold it?
Yeah.
Om maya chitrapatachannam nijo gohruti jashi nivaranam vijnanam bhashante kalpamaham Om vastram sakalaha samarapayami.
So first, this is we are offering a garland. This is the Maha garlands from the Lord as a blessings we are giving to him.
Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Okay, brothers, all three hold this together, and you all three will come. Hold this together. So this one will be placed on the chest. Okay. So now we will do the circumambulations of him 3 times. Each times you circumambulate, you take a 1 flower stem and offer to his chest while you get the coconuts. Okay, 3 times. There is enough place for circumambulation. Go from there. Come from this. Yeah, just for this one. That's it.
3 times.
3 times. Each time you offer the flowers over here.
ॐ जनेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे ॐ जनेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे ॐ जनेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे ॐ यानेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे ॐ यानेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे यानेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे यानेकानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्यादिकानि च तनीतानि प्रणोषन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे. We are running out of time, so we'll do very quick. Take flowers. Beyond to all your kids. So now I will invite to the kids, all grandkids, please come. I have more flowers here. Grab flowers from here. You guys can grab here. A lot. So grandkids, you take a one circle, okay, one circumambulations, and offer the flowers over here. Sorry. Not on you guys will just stand up, only the grandkids. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we don't. So you need flowers. You hold the flowers. Okay. With the grandkids, please you start the work. Om Janikani cha papani brahma hatyadikani cha tanitani pranoshante pradakshinam pade pade. Om Janikani cha papani brahma hatyadikani cha tanitani pranoshante pradakshinam pade pade. Okay, our brothers will come. So all three. Om Namah Pitridevebhya Namo Namaha Om Devatabhya Pitrivasya Bhagavatebhya Evacha Namasabhaya Shahaya Nittameva Bhavantunaha Pitridevebhya Namo Namaha. Offer the flower. Again. Now, these pranam mantras are offering, we pay obeisances to Lord, we pay obeisances to Devas, and everyone's obeisances have a mantra, right? When you go to the temple, we say, Hey Krishna, Karuna, Namo Brahmana Devaya. At the same time, we have a pranam mantra for father and mother also. We might don't know about the paying obeisances to our parents, which one is the most important, because of whom I am right now over here. Because of whom I am in this beautiful world. So we should know everyone, our kids, everyone should know our father's pranam mantra and mother's pranam mantra, like paying obeisances to the mother. I will just go to the mother's pranam mantra first. As you said, we can go a little bit extra time, there is not problems. So that's why I'll just try to give you that explanations. So in mother pranam mantra we say, Yat garbhe jayate mata, yassa snehena jivita, sha shashvadishvari mata, matre nasti param gruhu. Jat garbhe jayate mata. Womb. We are actually staying the womb of the mother. During of that 9 months, how much painful, how much suffering, only the mother knows. Nobody doesn't know. If the persons are not a mother,
If the woman are not a mother, don't know that pain, how much it was. So, and also when we take birth, she is the only one who gives more love than anyone else. Yasya snehena jivita. Give all the love. By the love from the mothers, we grow up slowly, 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 slowly. And that's what it's mentioning. Sha Shakshvat Ishwari Mata. The mothers are next to God. I am paying obeisances to the mothers. All sons and daughters, remember this. It's very important. Every day morning and evening you should chant this mantra. Now I'll chant the mantra for the father. So all three brothers, please come over here and you will chant together. Om Pita Sharga Pita Dharma Pitahi Paramam Tapa Pitari Pratima Panne Priyante Sharbaha Devata Pitri Devebhya Namo Namaha. So this is the pranam mantra of the father. Pita Sharga, the father represent like a heaven. We always say, do good deed, end of the life, you go back to heaven. But when heaven are just next to us, we really don't want to take care of it. So we should have take care of our father. So Pita Sharga, Pita is the next to the heaven. Pita Dharma, Pita, the father is ultimately the religious principles, from whom we hold the finger and study every single thing in aspect of religious. Pitahi Paramam Tapa. We do the meditations and everything. That meditation also should be goes to the father. Because if we do these three, you are ultimately pleased all the devas. Priyante Sharva Devataha. All the devas will be very happy. That's the pranam mantra of father. So now, up and in, up and Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagam Satavishwanti Shuraya Divi Vachakshura Tatam. All three please come together. And this mantra is for you guys also, because you are the better half of his son. So you also have the fathers. Same mantras you will chant. Om Pita Sharga Pita Dharma Pitahi Paramam Tapa Pitari Pratima Panne Priyante Sharbaha Devata Pitri Devebhya Namo Namaha. Okay, so now the final step we're going to do. So this is called Mukhagni. We prepare the bed, we get the bed, we have the wood and everything is ready. Now the Mukhagni to go to the fire bed. So that Mukhagni are done by sun. So all sun will come over here. But according to the scriptures, it said after you do these ceremonies, you cannot come back to see him again. If you want to come back and stand up for a minute, have some prayer to him, if you want to do so, you can do that before I do the Mukhagni. Yeah. Om Shastena Indra Vriddhastavaha Shastena Pusha Vishadyavaha Shastena Anantam Arakshayastihim Shastena Virashpatir Dadhatum Om Shanti Ramdo Shanti Antariksha Shvantihim
पृथिवीं शन्ति आपं शन्तिः औषधयः शन्ति वनस्पतयः शन्तिः विश्वदेवाः शन्तिः ब्रह्मा शन्तिः सर्वः शन्ति शन्तिरेव शन्ति स्वामा शन्तिरेधिः ॐ शन्ति शन्ति शन्तिः ॐ हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Okay. Yes, you can do so. So when you do this, only you three brothers cannot see him, but they will come to the final flowers offering. So only you three brothers cannot see him, and after flower offering, then that sounds good. Yes. After that, generally the slide is always with him, but now we're not going to do that. We're going to offer it 3 times, then take out and we'll. Yeah. Okay. 2 stages. Yeah, let's do it. Hold it, and we all hold it together. So this one, so now we are doing the Mukhagni. Mukhagni, this is actually final rites, are invoking to fire gods to take my father's body and burn it. Please accept him. So this is his ultimate invocations. So you do 3 times circling on his face, then touch 1 time, again 3 times circling, touch, again 3 times, touch, and then finally just leave it here for a minute, then we will take out. Okay. And you will have to chant the mantra. Say Om. Om. E Agni. E Agni. Bhuta Shanaha. Bhuta Shanaha. Sarve. Grihitva. Grihitva. Enam. Dahantu. Om. Devasya. Agnimukhah. Sarve. Bhutashanam. Grihitva. Enam dahantu. You just stop at that part. Be very careful. Okay. He's going to stop. Yeah, we're going to stop. Yeah, we're not going to do it.
Hold your hand, all three. And say Om Kritva Tu Dushkaram Karamaha Janata Bhaktya Janata Mrittukalam Vasam Papa Naram Panchaha Tamagatam Om Dharma Dharma Shamayuktam Lobhamoha Shamapritam Daheham Sharavaha Gatrani Vidwan Shagachatu. Okay, you guys come this side. Now, mother and you three please come. This is the last time flower offering. You guys have to leave, so push play. You can take the flower, you can use all of them. So you will chant mantra. Om Krabhya Danaya Namastabhyam. Just stop. You guys just come over here and fold your hand. Om Angahinam Kriyahinam Vidhihinam Chayat Bhavi Astu Tatsarvam Ashridyam Krishnaha Kashnaha Prashadataha Jakkinchet Vaikunya Jataha Taddosha Prashamanaya Sri Krishna Smaranam Aham Karomi. So our ceremonies officially end. The Sanpeshti Kriya ceremonies. So what is the next process we can do? Yeah.
That concludes our service. Mom and the immediate siblings, grandchildren should stay here. You may all go into the other rooms, and there's a reception at Lakewood Country Club to follow. Thank you all. God bless.
Oh, it's okay. Good job.